All right, ready to dive in. Today we're looking at Chapter 5 of Rama, Lakshmana, and Hanuman, brothers in arms.
Hanuman's Southern Odyssey, yeah.
That's the one. Now this chapter,
It's something special.
it really is. It's like more than just the story, it's like a window into the whole world of the Ramayana.
Exactly. You get geography, you get the people, the animals, even plants. Kata really brought that out, I think. Helps you understand the story in a whole new way.
You're spot on. So picture this. We've got Rama and his wife Seetha. Well, she's been kidnapped.
Terrible situation.
Awful. So he turns to Sugreeva, the Vanara king, for help. And here's where it gets interesting. Sugreeva, he knows a lot about the world, like a surprising amount.
Right. And think about how he got that knowledge. Running from his brother, Vali, constantly on the move.
Makes you think, sometimes the tough times, that's when you learn the most.
Adapt or perish, right?
Exactly. But Sugreeva, he doesn't just hoard that knowledge. He puts it to use. He launches this huge search operation.
Vanara is going everywhere. North, east, south, west, the whole works.
The book describes it like swarms of grasshoppers. Gives you a sense of the scale.
No kidding. It wasn't just random either. Each group had a leader, a specific area to cover.
Real strategy there. Like a military operation, but with, monkeys.
That's a good way to put it. And then there's Hanuman, chosen for the southern search.
Big responsibility. And there's this touching scene where Rama gives him his ring for Seetha. Small thing, but powerful. Shows that trust.
Absolutely. And then Hanuman takes off, him and his Vanara soaring into the sky.
The writing there, so vivid, you can practically feel the wind.
Totally. And as they head south, that's when we get this whole geography lesson.
Like a time machine. The Vindhya Mountains, the Narmada River, Mount Malaya, places we might know today, but thousands of years ago.
You can practically smell the sandalwood forests.
Amazing, right? It's not just names on a map, it's a world coming alive.
And we even get a little socioeconomics, too. Mentions of kingdoms like the Mahihaka, Kalinga, even the Cholas.
Wow, so it's not just geography, it's history, culture, everything. So much packed into this one chapter.
Truly. You really get a feel for the world Hanuman is traveling through.
Right. And it's not just dry facts either. It's woven into the story, makes it richer.
Definitely. And speaking of things woven in, did you notice the phrase Sugreeva Aajna?
Sugriva's command, right? It sounds almost like a proverb or something.
It's become a real symbol in Indian culture. It stands for clear leadership, good communication, the power of teamwork, things that matter even today.
Makes you think. How many projects fall apart because of, unclear goals or bad communication?
So true. It's a timeless message. Pretty cool how the author brings that out through this ancient story.
Absolutely. And, that's just the beginning of Hanuman's journey.
Oh yeah, there's so much more to come.
We'll be back in the next part to delve deeper into his Southern Odyssey and all the challenges he faces along the way. Stay tuned.
Can't wait.
Okay, so these Vanaras, they're on this huge search, right? Spreading out everywhere.
And each direction has its own, unique flavor, different landscapes, different challenges.
Absolutely. It's like each group is having its own mini adventure within the bigger story.
Exactly. Take Shadabali. Heading north, he's got the Himalayas to deal with.
Oh, man, the Himalayas.
Yeah.
Those mountains, they're almost mythical, right?
No kidding. Ancient, massive. I can't even imagine what it must have been like for them trekking through those peaks.
Must have been incredible.
Chapter even talks about him going through snow, encountering these old civilizations, the Ravana, the Kuru.
Wow, so it's like a history lesson, A&D, a geography lesson, all in one.
Right, and then there's this mention of Uttarakuru, this sacred province, and Mount Soma, which, isn't that
the home of the gods, right, from the myth?
The very same. It's like Kata's blending mythology and geography seamlessly.
It's cool how he does that, brings that mythical element into the real world. But wait, while Shadabali's up north, freezing his tail off, what about Vanara? He was sent east.
Vanara, yeah. Now, the chapter doesn't go into as much detail about his journey.
Oh, that's right. More focused on Hanuman's southern trip.
Right. But even so, Sugreeva gave him a whole rundown on the eastern lands.
So he had a plan, even if we don't see it all play out. Speaks to Sugriva's leadership, right? Making sure everyone's prepared.
For sure. It makes you wonder, though, what kind of stories might be hidden in those eastern lands, waiting to be discovered.
Ooh, good point. Okay, so north, east. What about the west? Sushina, right? He went that way.
Yep, westward bound. The chapter describes it as, grand mountains up north, and then this vast sea to the south. what we know as the Arabian Sea today.
Mountains and ocean, that's a tough combo to navigate.
No kidding. And again, you see Sugriva's thinking. Give Sushina a clear deadline, 1 month.
Time is ticking. So there's urgency, but also, like, efficiency. Everything's thought out.
It's almost like he's conducting an orchestra, right? All these Vanaras playing their parts in this big symphony of a search.
Love that analogy. But let's not forget our main man, Hanuman. We left him flying south. Where does he end up next?
Picture this. Hanuman and his crew, they're soaring over these thick forests, the Vindhya mountains.
I'm already picturing it. Beautiful.
Right. The air probably filled with the scent of sandalwood, all those exotic flowers.
Now I'm jealous. What an experience.
And then they come to the Narmada River.
The Narmada, that's a big one, right? Super sacred in Hinduism.
Exactly. It's said that bathing in it cleanses you of all sins.
So it's not just a river. It's like a spiritual point on their journey. It adds another layer to the whole thing.
Definitely. And the chapter highlights even more rivers as they go. The Godavari, Krishnaveni, Mahanadi, Virata. It's like we're tracing this path through ancient India.
It's incredible, right? All these places, these names, they come alive.
And it's not just the geography either. Kata throws in these little details about life back then. Mentions kingdoms, Mahihaka, Vanga, Kalinga, even the Cholas, Pandyas, Kerala.
Wow, all these different kingdoms, cultures, flourishing thousands of years ago makes you realize how much history there is.
Totally. And then there's the nature aspect, too, like Mount Malaya with those famous sandalwood forests. But the chapter also mentions iron ore deposits there. Hints at the economy of the region, you know.
Right, so it's not just pretty trees, it's a whole ecosystem, a society.
Mm.
And hey, remember the Tamparni River? That one stood out to me.
Yeah.
Water infused with sandalwood. Can you imagine?
Oh, yeah, that image is vivid. It's like the author's pulling you in, engaging all your senses.
Totally. You're right there with Hanuman, feeling the breeze, smelling the sandalwood.
Exactly. And as they keep heading south, they reach this crucial spot, Mount Mahendra.
Mount Mahendra. Okay. Why is that one so important?
Well, for one, it's described as this sacred place, revered by gods and all sorts of celestial beings.
Sounds impressive.
Right. But more importantly, it's partially submerged in the ocean.
In the ocean. Why is that a big deal?
Because, according to Sugriva, that's their launching point, to reach this island, a formidable island further south.
An island, huh?
Mm-hmm.
What's so special about this island?
This is where it gets interesting. Sugriva believes that Seetha might be there.
On that island. But wait, if that's where she is, wouldn't that mean?
It means they're heading straight into Ravana's territory.
Whoa! Talk about a risky move.
Yeah.
That's like walking into the dragon's lair.
Pretty much. Things are about to get intense.
No kidding. But before we jump into that, let's take a moment to appreciate how far they've come.
You're right. This journey, it's been amazing so far.
From those mountains to the rivers, the forests, the ancient kingdoms. It's like a whole world unfolding before our eyes.
Absolutely. And this is just a glimpse, you know? There's so much more to the Ramayana, to this ancient world.
All right, so Hanuman's on the edge of this dangerous island, possibly where Sita is being held. Talk about a cliffhanger.
Yeah, and remember, Sugriva specifically warned them about this island. Said it was crawling with Ravana's forces.
Which makes their courage even more impressive. They're not just obeying orders, they're choosing to face this danger head on.
For sure. They're putting everything on the line, all for Rama. It's about loyalty, but also, like, standing up to a powerful enemy.
Makes you think about what true heroism really means, right? It's not just strength, it's that willingness to fight for what's right, even when it's scary. But hold on, wasn't there another threat Sugriva mentioned? Besides Ravana, I mean.
Oh yeah, the demoness Angaraka. She hangs out in the Southern Ocean.
So it's not just one bad guy. It's a whole lineup of mythical monsters. Even Hanuman, son of the wind god, must be feeling some pressure.
You'd think so. But hey, amidst all that danger, there's also hope. Remember what Sugriva promised? Whoever finds Seetha
gets a reward, right? Something about being equal to him in status.
Exactly. Basically saying, bring her back and you'll be like a king yourself. Shows how much Sita's return means to him.
No kidding. And he doesn't just offer the reward, he gives them this pep talk, reminds them of their strengths. You can almost hear the emotion in his voice.
Totally. And meanwhile, back on Mount Ravana, Rama and Lakshmana are waiting. The chapter ends with them patiently enduring that month-long wait.
Must have been agonizing. It's like the Vanaras are facing physical danger, but Rama and Lakshmana, they're in this emotional battle. The not knowing, the waiting.
It's a different kind of test, isn't it? It shows that even heroes have their vulnerabilities.
Absolutely. So we've come a long way with Hanuman, from that epic takeoff to this perilous island. What are the big takeaways for you looking back on this Southern Odyssey?
It's been a wild ride. For me, it's the mix of everything. We see Sugriva's leadership, how strategic he is, and the sheer scale of the search operation. Plus, we get this amazing glimpse into the world back then, the geography, the people, the whole culture.
It's like the quest for Sita is just the surface, and underneath we're uncovering this whole lost world. Kata really did a phenomenal job with that.
I agree. And for you, what stood out to you the most?
Honestly, it's the reminder that every experience, even the tough ones, they shape us. Just like Sugriva running from Bali, they gave him the knowledge to lead this search. Our own challenges, they can give us the strength and wisdom to face our own formidable islands, so to speak.
Well said. I like that. So, as we wrap up this deep dive, I have a question for our listeners. What's your Sugriva Ajna? What guiding principle helps you navigate your own life, your own challenges, keep exploring, keep asking those questions, and never stop diving deep?